Howdy, hello. Welcome to the Fit, Healthy, Happy podcast. Before we jump into it, make sure you're following us on Instagram. We like to see it as a companion to this podcast. We post valuable reels, inspiration, motivation, updates on our lives, backups to this episode, some of the things we talk about, share the transformation, as well as do free giveaways. We're always giving tons of value there. Also, if you want to connect with me personally or Kyle, shoot us a DM. We're always in there. So make sure to shoot us a follow. It'll be the first link in the description of this episode, or you can just go ahead and type in at Colossus Fit, COLOSSUSFIT. You'll know it's us because the artwork is the same as the podcast. Now into the episode. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Fit, Healthy, and of course, Happy podcast. I am your coach and host, Josh, here with
his co-host and co-coach, KG, and I'm in the house.
Me and Kyle have been fired up lately. We feel we've been really clear on our vision, our inspiration, what we really want to apply ourselves to, and we've just been super productive. We've just been cranking, and we wanted to share some of the things that have been working for us that have got us really excited. So we're really excited to jump into this. So if you know you could be getting more done in less time and want some great tips, you are in the right place. Thank you for tuning in today. You've already done a great step to turbocharging your productivity. Now we're going to give you some killer tips. It's important you apply them though. So make sure to revisit this, maybe write them down, copy the show notes, whatever you got to do. But let's jump into my first tip. And my first tip is called the Pomodoro technique. And this basically got me through university at the end. And this is something I love. If you're someone like me who really likes to do a good sprint versus a jog, you'd rather get the pain out of the way and then take a little bit of a break, this is going to resonate really well for you. And the goal of Pomodoro, most often, I believe it's 20 or 25 minutes of deep work followed by a short break. So that short break will oftentimes be about 5 minutes. You can do different styles of this with shorter, tighter breaks or longer breaks. You can see what works well for you. You could do a 45-minute deep work session with a 15-minute. I find the 25-5 works the best for me because working for 25 minutes is very reasonable. That doesn't seem like an excessive amount of time. And then in that 5 minutes, you can go to the bathroom, get a coffee, take some breaths, just sit down, not think about what you're doing. But the goal is to do this with great intention. I used to study, I remember for my exams, really short amount of time, maybe like an hour, 90 minutes. But I started using this system where when I did it, I was 100% involved. Whereas I'd ask people at test, how much did you study, that were essentially getting the same grades as me? And they'd say 6 to 8 hours. But I know for a fact those individuals were studying with Facebook in the background, watching a YouTube video, shooting some text, half reading things. I'm sure we've all been there where we've sat down to do something, hours have passed, and we're like, I've got nothing done. And when you're doing too many things, your attention's split. You're not doing anything with good intention. Whereas when you lock in and focus on it, your productivity will go through the roof. And you can apply this to anything. It goes with the gym too. Like when you're there, really lock in, give it your all. And if you need to take a little bit of a break and you're like, I've been super focused, you can absolutely do that as well. I wouldn't necessarily recommend that for the most part. I find this does work better with actual work or task around the house. For instance, clean for 25 minutes, take that break, do as many of these as you need, and then you can follow that by a big break. But once again, implementing this, everyone I've introduced this to has actually taken the time to try it, has been like, this is magical, whereas it's been my whole life. So I was really excited to share that as I've revisited this myself and I've been utilizing it.
I think this is great. And even just on this topic, like a lot of people don't realize how much just not being productive can have an effect on their journey, not only just fitness, but overall mental health, just overall efficiency. And, it's one of those things that even myself, I have to catch myself in many different times over and just be like, how can I, just become better with this? And even there's been times where, I have to shorten my workout because, that morning just wasn't as productive. And it's just like, there's a lot of things I promise you are definitely holding you back just because of a lack of productivity, and you start to apply all this stuff, it'll make such a big difference. But number 2 is just simply walking more. So I find that myself, I'm definitely guilty of always feeling the need to, be checking something on Instagram or, responding to texts or texting clients, doing a lot of different things. And I find that oftentimes when I'm the most productive and I spend time simply thinking, learning and just overall like walking, like moving, I can get some incredible things done. It's not actually getting things done, but it's actually just like becoming more clear, which will then help me become more productive when I sit down at my desk, when I focus in on doing something for the podcast, or, even just like going on a walk. Like my best thoughts always take place, which will end up helping me become more productive because I'm more clear on what I need to do, my vision, the overall tasks that need to be accomplished. And thinking is one of those things that unfortunately a lot of people will overlook because we feel the need to always be doing something, and we think that that's going to be the next productive thing. However, when you sit there with yourself for 10 minutes or you're walking, I find that walking is when most people get their best thinking done. It just helps you become so much more productive in so many different ways, and I definitely encourage you to try it out, implement it, and I guarantee it can help the productivity game for you for sure.
Next up is just doing the thing, or eating the frog. That's what we used to call it. I can't remember where that term came from, but that's actually doing the thing you need to do to move you forward, not doing a million other things. I used to call it productive procrastinating. In my mind, I'd be like, okay, it's time to study, and then I'd go and I'd clean my whole room, I'd answer a bunch of people, I'd do a bunch of other things, but I wouldn't do the thing that actually was going to move the needle for me. So now even I've made it a goal in the morning, now me and Kyle are calling them sprints, to do the hardest thing first before I check my messages, before I check my email, before I'm doing anything reactive. I'm getting after that one thing that is really going to push me forward. And it can be hard to do, but when you just tackle these things head on, it's so freeing, because when you have something over your head for days or weeks or whatever it may be, by just attacking that head on, it's so much better. So swap just doing checklist tasks, easy things, putting things off for smart, deep work.
Awesome. I could not agree with that one more. And simply put, number 4, leaving the house, being around energy makes such a big difference. And especially for us, obviously working online and just being in the nature where we can, sit on our laptops, do some programming, do a lot of great things just really anywhere. It's very important. And especially myself, I really try to pay attention to where I do my best work, to how I get distracted, sitting at home. There's just so many different variables. And I find that especially on those days, like even Josh and myself for 10 plus years, we've still met up consistently 3 times a week, filming podcasts, filming YouTube videos, working out, sitting down, overviewing clients, overviewing coaches, like doing everything and just doing it in a space where you're getting out of the house. And I find it makes such a big difference. Myself, going into coffee shops is a great place to be. I find my productivity is so much better when I'm sitting down there, when there's other people having meetings, talking, hustling. And I try to pay attention to this stuff because it's very easy to go about your day-to-day stuff, think, oh, I've been so productive. And then you realize you've checked on the laundry, you just cleaned up and did this. And then you've done a bunch of random things that you're able to check off, like Josh was saying before, but it wasn't actual productive work, and it wasn't things that were actually moving the needle and helping out in your overall journey. So yeah, leave the house, be around energy. I find it makes such a big difference in so many different ways.
Yeah, like when I need to get work done, I'll just go to a coffee shop, and that's been like one of our biggest secrets. Actually, we're letting you in on it. When me and Kyle need to buckle down, get something done, we've hit up coffee shops and just being in a different environment, seeing people hustling. And that's why I like going out to the gym versus using my home gym, and something I've stood by. Seeing other people moving, it's inspirational, and you want to copy that energy. So that is a great one. The next one is goal setting. We really talked about this last Thursday, so I'm not going to dive into this too heavily. But if you want to be productive, set goals, set KPIs, so key performance indicators. Are you moving towards those goals? And if you're not, you got to reassess and create some new goals. But once again, I talked about this in depth on the Monday episode, I believe the week before last. So definitely be sure to give that a listen.
Yeah, number 6, simply moving more. I find working out, having activities to do, joining some sports teams. Like, once again, a lot of people don't realize how important it is to do all of these things. And I find that it helps you with your energy levels. It helps you feel so much just overall better. And when you're feeling better, when you're feeling like, hey, I've accomplished this task, I've, just released some endorphins and all that stuff. It's amazing at how great and how much momentum it builds into that task that you're doing. And even myself, like I find after a nice workout, after a great walk, after some sort of movement or a sport, like, the energy's there, the momentum's there, and just it allows me to become productive afterwards, and it helps in so many different ways. So simply moving more. I just can't stress enough how important it is to help with your overall productivity, how clear you're thinking, your overall vision, and it is super, super underrated.
Whenever I'm in a slump, I just go out for a walk. And there's even days I just felt dead. I'm like, okay, I'm just going to do some stuff around the house. And it's amazing how it energizes you. Like movement produces more movement. Whereas when you're just being a couch potato, it's really hard to break past that. But if you are feeling stuck and you want to get a little burst of productivity, it can seem really tempting to avoid these things so you can do more work. But another edge that was really big for me for studying that would help other students was actually doing my workout first or doing it after a little bit of studying. So I had that break, and I would always do that workout on an exam day. And I actually saw a study saying that people who worked out on their exam days actually did better, because having that outlet, giving away some of that physical energy so you can sit down and be more relaxed to actually focus on studying, and having that break is so imperative and powerful. So last but not least is just doubling down on presence. Multitasking and doing too many things at once is brutal. I mean, there's countless fun examples and activities showcasing this. It's very hard to do well. Whereas if you really buckle into one thing, whatever it is, and you want to do it well, it's going to be a lot better. If I try and do my landscaping and my laundry and I run back and forth, I'm really getting nowhere. I'm just much better to do one thing at a time. So really analyze and prioritize what you need to do first. When you do it, be all in on it, make it count, and you'll get a lot more out of it for a lot less time. If I'm at the gym and taking phone calls, I'm trying to work, I'm trying to study, I'm trying to do all these things, I'm doing all these things poorly. Whereas if I just went to the gym, buckled down, took care of business, I'm going to get a lot more from it. And then I did those other tasks after. So this is a big one. This is an easy one to overlook. It's more fun to do multiple things, but put that phone on airplane mode, axe out the distractions, do what you need to do head on, and that is going to help a lot with your productivity. Now, once again, these things are only going to benefit you if you implement them. Knowledge is only power when applied. You know, that's one of my favorite quotes. So go ahead and apply this. But I want to thank you for tuning in today. You're a beast for listening to this, for investing in yourself with some knowledge from this podcast. Definitely let us help you get some more amazing free content on our Instagram at ColossusFit, COLOSSUSFIT. We'll see you over there. And if you want to shoot us a message or say hi, that's where we'll be. We'd love to get back to you. We'd love to hear if this podcast helped you, or if any of these tips really resonated, or if you have any questions for future episodes. It would really mean a lot, because if you're thinking it, other people are too. But thanks for tuning in today. Peace out.